share this right after it's all done uploading. Well, welcome to the call, everybody. We're excited to have you to our Thursday night or Thursday morning for if you're in the US product education series in India. So we're happy to continue doing it, and we appreciate the attendance. Please spread the word to your teams. We want to make sure that we can continue doing these calls. So let's spread the word, make sure that people are attending, because this is going to be super valuable information for you, your team, your downline, even future prospects. These are all recorded, so they're posted on the team app after they're done, so you can rewatch them and get that valuable information over and over again. So just a couple of announcements and reminders before we begin. We want to remind everybody about the grand opening, right? You're on the team app, you know where to go for, doTERRA.com to get your tickets. So make sure you and your team members get your tickets as soon as possible. We're actually running out of seats. We've got so many people attending. We're running out of tickets. So make sure you grab your ticket as soon as possible. This is something you're not going to want to miss. And I know I said this on last week's call, but there's going to be so much information. These are going to be so packed full of great details that you will be able to learn more from Dr. Nicole Stevens, Boyd Truman, Corey Lindley, Jim Fowler, Russ Butters. We've got the best of the best. The doTERRA executives and our top scientists are flying out, Dr. Prabodh, for India for this grand opening for 3 days. So this is going to be world-class training in essential oils by the biggest essential oil company in the world, doTERRA. You're going to learn more in 3 days than you will on your own in 3 years during this event. So please make it a priority. Please, we want you to be there, and we want you to get the ticket as soon as you can, so that way you don't miss out on this amazing event. So again, it's November 8th, 9th, and 10th. The 8th, we're going to be doing an optional product education with Boyd Truman and Dr. Nicole Stevens at night for about 3 or 4 hours. Then on the following day, that's going to be the celebration. And then we're going to be talking about products. We'll talk about updates in India specifically. And then the following day will be all business. So business day will be the 10th. So that's going to be kind of a rough overview, high level overview of the agenda, so that you get an idea of when to attend. But there's definitely lots of hotel spots available. There's lots of room for you to get your ticket and stay very close nearby. I've seen lots of hotels that range anywhere from 1,000 rupees a night, 5,000 rupees a night, all the way up to 30,000 rupees a night. So depending on what hotel you want to stay in, there's definitely room for everybody, no matter what your budget is. And then we also wanted to just remind everybody and do a little celebration for Imna Senla, who's on this call, for becoming the first doTERRA India founder in this market. We've only been open for a few months, and Imna Senla and Peter and her family became the first founders. So we're super, super thrilled. We've got other people that are on their way. Huke Lee, she's very close as well, but we want to give Imna Senla a big round of applause and a celebration. So make sure to blow up the chat with all the warm wishes, emojis, and hearts for Imna Senla and all the hard work that they've put into to grow the market. And this is just a benchmark. Everybody is able to do Founders Club. I've talked to Imna Senla, and she's like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So really, this is an opportunity for everybody. We had 40 spots open. Now we have 39. So we've got lots of spots left, but they're filling up. So we want to make sure that y'all take full advantage of that. We've got lots of people in the running for Founders Club. We just want to make sure that if you have any questions, we did a training a couple weeks ago regarding Founders Club. If you want to rewatch that, you're more than welcome to. So with that, we'll go ahead and introduce our wonderful speaker today, Becky Raney. We are super happy to have Becky. Becky, along with Suzanne, have been to India, and they're coming again for the grand opening. but Becky is super invested into India. She's built a very, very big team. She's invested so much into training her team. Not only that, but coming to India is such a big investment, especially from the US, and spending weeks here. She's going to be doing the same thing in November for the grand opening. And we're just super grateful for Becky and the sacrifices that she's making for India, and want to give her a warm welcome as well. So with that, Becky has just an amazing testimony of doTERRA, and also a wealth of knowledge in her product education. So we want to give the time over to her, and she has some amazing things to teach us about digestion. So with that, we'll turn the time over to you. Thank you, Becky.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Andrew. And you've been incredible support for our team. And I just want to thank you so much for everything you've done for our team as well. I want to thank or congratulate Imna Semla. That is just so remarkable. It's such a blessing and a pleasure to know who you are and to work with you and Suzanne. And I know you've worked so hard. And but I just want to say, Andrew, that there's only 38 spots left because I have the other one. No. So I can't help but say that. Anyhow, I wanted to share my screen. Did you give me privileges to share my screen?
Yeah, let me do that right now. I'll make you a co-host. There you go.
And I'm also going to thank Suzanne for all of her wonderful help and support. And today you're going to be able to manage our chat for me, Suzanne and Andrew. Okay, good. So I am going to talk today about my experience. Can you see my screen? Can everybody see the application? Okay, good. I've gone through before where it actually didn't show up, and I did most of the presentation and nobody told me. So I wanted to share a little bit about a grumpy gut. And I think that everybody kind of can experience or tell that they've had an experience about having issues with their stomach. And yeah, so let me just start a little bit tell you a little about me. Larry and I have been married 33 years. We just celebrated our anniversary last week. And I don't know how we're still married after owning a print shop of 28 years, and I hadn't killed him. We're still, we still talk from time to time. So it's really great. We actually sold our print shop January 30th of 2020, just right before the pandemic. And I tell you what, that running a print shop is the most stressful thing you can ever do. We had deadlines, impossible deadlines. We had issues with equipment and upgrading. If you're not a technical person, we had to know everything about computers and trying to train employees and stuff. It was just really just an incredible stress tank. And I was getting really sick. The stress was just really eating my health. I wasn't sleeping at night. I was just becoming very irritable. And of course, then my stomach was not functioning properly either. And I was going to doctors, and after all of these doctor tests and things, they still couldn't find anything wrong with me. And I don't know if anybody else has gone to the doctor. I love our doctors. They're amazing, right? I'm not saying anything bad about them, but nutrition isn't one of the top things that they're really trained when they go to medical school. And the doctor eventually told me, I think you're making it up, so I'm going to send you to a psychologist. And when you are not having good health with your stomach, it could be very devastating to your mental health too. And so I started the spiral down path of major depression, and until a girlfriend came into the shop and introduced me to essential oils. So I just am really delighted to be here with you today. And after we sold the shop, Suzanne said, Becky, let's build in India together. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why not? This will be just totally fun. But you know what? I know nobody in India. So here we are today. I'm just so delighted to have met so many people. And so here we are. Here is my test of my food allergy test. I finally went to a naturopath doctor, and this is just one part of it. This test was like 8 pages of reports. So I just did a screenshot of basically how it looked on everything. And I am 100% allergic to dairy. And you can see here that when you're looking at a food chart, basically everything that I'm allergic to was in an ingredient in a processed food. And having a processed food is pretty much, when you're running a print shop, all that I ate. It was hard to eat healthy because we're on the run. I didn't eat many times. And when I found this out, I even got more depressed because there was not much I could eat. And I realized that I'm not alone. Like, so many of my friends were dealing with gut issues as well. And I started down this journey of researching why we are so messed up as a society, why all over the world people are having diabetes issues or all these different illnesses that seem to be so common, right? And so we're going to go through and talk to you a little bit about the report that I came up with. And what the crazy thing about gut health is, you could be thinking you're fine. I talk to so many people who deal with skin issues or hair or just a lot of different issues, but they say that their stomach is my phone keeps talking. I apologize.
Still on it.
So anyway, we're silent until it's not, meaning you have gut issues and things that are going on and you think you're fine, but you could be living a fine life, maybe having tiredness or things like that. But basically, your stomach is actually crying for help. You could be bloating, cramping, diarrhea, constipation, having a really hard time losing weight or having lost too much weight. Brain fog is also a major issue when it comes to dealing with gut health, and of course, then depression. So when you feel like you have some of these mild symptoms that could be there, I would venture to guess that you're on this path of having some issues with your stomach. And I sat back and I thought about, with all these food allergies that I have and intolerances, my grandma had passed away with colon cancer. And her son, my uncle, he actually had his whole intestines taken out because he had celiac disease, and his bottom sewed up. So he has to process his food through a colostomy bag. And so I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he doesn't even have intestines. And then looking at myself, I'm probably the beginning stages of how that can go as we get older and the abuse that we do to our stomach. Now, our stomach is the gateway to our health. So we're going to go through here and we're going to talk a lot about many different problems, because if we have a stomach issue, the nutrients are not getting into our body and it's causing things like inflammation, iron deficiency. And how many of you are dealing with arthritis? I hear a lot of people say they got joint pain or aches, backaches, and things like that, or even just simple things like tingling or numbness in the hands. Also, I've heard people talk about infertility. This is a huge thing, even more and more so, that many miscarriages, and it's all from the gut. And I know that seems like it's a different part of the anatomy, but when we talk about how we're not getting the nutrients and things inside our body, everything starts to go sideways. So if you know people who are dealing with diabetes, thyroid issues, or coronary heart disease, or high blood pressure, autoimmune diseases, the list is like 110 or something like that. The last I looked, I'm sure it's more than that. But look up the word autoimmune disease and you'll go down this rabbit hole of so many different things. It's incredible. So what is our stomach trying to tell us? Now, many of you have seen this chart where we go through and we talk about modern medicine works with the symptoms. And, sometimes when we have weight gain, extreme fatigue, clarity, we take on other medications, right, to help with that. But that doesn't go after the root cause. Today, we are going to look at the root cause and see why we have so many of these other diseases or illnesses that are going on in our life, okay? So as we go through the beginning part inside our gut, we have what's called the villi, and they're like these little pictures of the little fingers here that are moving inside your stomach that actually will digest the food. And as you're going through and wiggling the little villi wiggles, the food comes down and it will break down your food, and then that will absorb into our all throughout our body, the nutrients, all the things to feed our organs and stuff like that. But when this food is actually rotting inside our stomach because the villi is inflamed, or it has this infection going on. When you get a cut on your hand, you get this infection, right, where it turns red and it swells up. Well, these villi will do that as well. Well, they swell up and they're not able to wiggle and digest the food when it goes into your stomach lining. So when you look at this little picture over here, these are the villi under a microscope. And this is a villi that's inflamed. So you can see that it actually will start to rot away and break open your stomach lining, which is another thing called like leaky gut, where then we're having lots of stomach issues, right? So here's another picture. I really like this picture because it kind of explains when you're looking at the intestines, what's happening with these villi on the stomach lining, where it starts to rot away. And then all of our stomach acids and the foods and things start to leak. And then our stomach, as our cells are going, wait a minute, what's going on? What's happening here? And they start to kick off antibodies, where we start to have intolerances, where those foods become more sensitive to our digestive system. And then pretty soon it becomes an allergy. And then pretty soon then it turns into IBS or Crohn's disease or something, because we're not able then to digest this food, right? So as we go through, how does this happen? Where do we get these problems? Why does our stomach lining start to really deteriorate and not do its job? Well, environmental issues are there. We are exposed to so many toxins. Right here in Washington State, we have major forest fire going on. There's so much smoke outside. My throat is sounding a little scratchy this morning, right? Because there's so much pollution in the air. We get it from simple things like our soap, our shampoo, cleaning supplies, everything that we work with in our house, even the paint on the walls, the carpets on the floor. Maybe we're not exercising, like getting things to move around. We need to stretch our gut and move. Yoga, stretching is even simple. Lack of good sleep. That was what was going on for me. I was like maybe getting 2 or 3 hours of sleep. And, that is so bad for our hormones. Everything really gets out of whack then. And I mean, this list is actually a lot of items. I just simplified it with these 4, and we're going to focus more on the foods that we eat today. The foods that we eat are just so full of chemicals. I mean, if you look at the ingredient list, you can't read or pronounce half of those things, right? Or not more, 90% of them really. And that's all chemicals, preservatives, sugars, all the stuff that actually in our stomach is going to slowly start to make it get worn out and just tired. And when all of our energy goes to our stomach to digest that food, then over off to the side, we could be having issues happening like cancer or other things. And so we need to be careful about making sure that our digestive system is happening quickly, that the food goes through our stomach at least twice a day. We're having bowel movements and things like that. So anyhow, we're going to go through, I'm going to do a rapid fire, you guys. So you may want to go through and do a lot of screenshots here and make sure that we go through. I'm not going to go through these very much in detail because we have so much to cover today. Do we have any questions or anything in the chat right at the moment? Are you doing okay? All right. So the old adage saying is you are what you eat. How many of you have heard that before, right? Well, your stomach is the gateway to your health. If you're eating bad foods, you're going to be what you eat. If you are eating good foods, then you're going to have good results too, right? So here's the list of 10 worst foods you should avoid. Now, today's market, you go to the store, you're going to have a really difficult time avoiding all these things. But sugar is the number one thing. Sugar is so toxic to our bodies, and it is so addictive. How many of you tried to not eat sugar? Maybe some of you are really great at it, but I tell you what, it's very addictive, and they say it's even more addictive than a lot of the terrible drugs out there in the marketplace today. And if you think about it, it is a silent killer because it causes so much inflammation, and it raises our sugar levels in our body, and we crash. Then we want more food. It raises our sugar levels, and we crash. And then we have a hard time with weight gaining, and it's just really not good. So the next thing is GMO foods. GMO foods are genetically altered foods or genetically modified foods, organisms. This is at a point where the seeds, and Monsanto was very much known for this, where they've genetically altered these seeds so that they can spray the seeds in the crop with Roundup. Roundup is a chemical to kill bugs, to also kill the weeds around the plant. So the plant is designed to withstand this chemical. So when we eat this chemical, not only when bugs eat the plant, their stomachs will blow up. So we're just like big bugs, right? We are eating these plants like corn, sugar, aspartame. I mean, all these things are actually zucchini. I love zucchini. I eat a lot of zucchini. And here it is, a genetically modified organism. And it's very difficult today to find corn or find soy that is not genetically modified. So stay away from those. And in the United States, they passed a law where the farmers and the distribution centers do not have to label if that food is genetically modified. So you don't even know today if it's genetically modified or not. Gluten. I will venture to guess that every single one of us has a gluten intolerant. Maybe just slightly, but I will guarantee you that we do. There's no way that you can be eating this genetically modified food and not having it be effective in our stomach. There's so much you can read regarding gluten, and it's just like big, thick glue, and it's just going to clog up those villi in your stomach and cause lots of issues. Dairy. Now, dairy is designed, milk, it's cow's milk, is designed to make a 100-pound calf to a 1,000-pound cow in a year. There is a protein called beta-casein A1, which is actually shown to have 26 more receptor site issues than gluten. So if you're going to be having gluten intolerance, dairy is going to be worse. And again, how can we be people eating another animal's byproduct like that and not have issues? So I think that we need to be really careful about the dairy. Now, here in the United States, our dairy farmers feed our cows so many probiotic or antibiotics. They feed them so many hormones and so many, it's just terrible. Our young children are developing more earlier ages and having, like, young girls are developing like in the second and third and fourth grade, where it used to be 8th and 9th grade when they would start developing into a woman. And this is really a problem. And so we really need to be looking at what's happening in that industry right now. I'm not going to say this is the same thing for goat's milk. Goat's milk, the goat is the same size as our body, and the proteins in there are more digestible for our stomach. Then we can go through and talk about artificial coloring and artificial sweeteners. You guys, the artificial coloring, there's over 15 million pounds of artificial food dyes in our foods, and 9 of those dyes are linked to health issues ranging from cancer, hyperactivity due to allergic reactions. This is incredible. This is a hidden thing that we don't know about, right? Then we're talking about artificial sweeteners. This is one of the reasons why you drink Diet Coke and all these different things. It's terrible for our body. People think they're drinking Diet Coke to help them lose weight, but in fact, it actually gives you the opposite result, and it's very addictive. Okay, so artificial flavorings. This is the scary one. You think you're buying something at the store that actually says it has flavor, you know, natural flavorings, and no, natural flavorings are still recognized as a chemical base. There are over 2,000 chemicals combined to make 500 natural flavors, quote unquote, typically created in labs, and they're in so many things. This is an example of thinking you're eating right by buying prunes. Like, oh, we need prunes for our digestive system. This is amazing. And this has natural artificial cherry flavoring in it. You guys, why do they add that? Why? And then it has, like, I don't know if you can read the ingredients here, but you can start looking at the ingredients on the stuff that you're buying, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's in everything. I thought I was eating really good by buying stuff like this, and it was actually causing more intolerance in my stomach. So, okay, so if we go through, I just want to tell you, we have an oil for flavorings. So we've got tons of different oils, you guys. You can cook with our oils. A lot of them have a supplement label on it. And in India, if you look at the product, it will have a circle with a square, a green circle with a square around it. I forgot to put that showing on here, but all these oils are just so amazing to use for flavoring. And you want to always just test it with a toothpick, especially like rosemary or oregano. But start adding these into your home cooking, and you'll be amazed on how much more flavor you'll get and more results you'll have. Okay. So we're going to go back to the foods here. We've got synthetic trans fats. Now, this is cooking with like vegetable oil. If you have corn oil in your kitchen, please throw it out. Okay, everybody, promise me you're going to throw out vegetable oil and corn oil. Do not ever use that again. That has so much of the hydrogenate. I mean, it's just so much synthetic trans fats in there that you're just going to have. I mean, it's just so bad for your body. And these are some examples that you can find: trans fats and chocolates and pizza. And how many of you like Kentucky Fried Chicken? I've seen that. We were in Mumbai. We saw several Kentucky Fried Chicken stores there. It's horrible for your stomach. I was eating Special K, and Special K is a cornflake type material, and I thought it was going to help me lose weight. You guys, it's the worst for you. So when you're looking at bread, French fries, anything that's deep fried. Now, I've talked to many of you on video chat, and a lot of you are showing me your food you're eating, and it's a lot of deep fried food. So I don't know. We just really need to start looking at different ways, like using an air fryer, different ways that we can start cooking with to not have that unnecessary added effect to our body. Monosodium glutamate is also known as MSG, which is natural, it's a food flavoring in Chinese food and a lot of different cookings, but it's an excitotoxin. It's an excitotoxin, you guys. That means it overexcites your cells to the point of damage or death, causing brain dysfunction. And it's also, talking about Alzheimer's, disabilities like brain fog. This is horrible, and it really should be outlawed. But so if you have that in your kitchen, throw it out. And again, we're going to talk about that high fructose corn syrup, which is the sugar. You guys, this is in everything in the United States. It's in everything. And I'm like, why? They just want to make it sweeter so that we're more addictive to it, because that type of corn or type of sugar we're very addictive to. And so if you have one potato chip and can't put down the bag, that is part of that addiction of those chemicals that they put in these foods that make us want to eat more. And that is why we have a lot of diabetes, or we have a lot of weight gain in our societies, is because of these chemicals. Like looking at the hypertension, you don't know, almost everybody, when I talk to them as they join doTERRA, they say, Becky, you know, we have a lot of diabetes in India, and we have a lot of high blood pressure in India. And yeah, we do in the United States too, you guys. And it's a global, I want to call it pandemic, right? It's a problem all over the world where we're dealing with these issues. So as we go through now, I just want to tell you there's hope. Whoa, there's this beautiful oil called digestin. And oh my gosh, when my friend Cindy, who happens to be Suzanne's sister-in-law, she walked into my shop and she said, Becky, I have this beautiful bottle of digestin, and would you be willing to try it? And I looked at her and said, honey, you don't understand. I've been doctoring for years, spending so much money on tests, so much dysfunction in my life with not sleeping, my irritability. I'm losing friends because I'm not being very nice. Why do you think this 15 ml bottle of digestin would help me? It's like snake oil. Don't talk to me about that. I was so mean. And she leaned over and she said, Becky, nothing else is working. Why don't you just try it? And she was right. And so I took the bottle. She said, just take one drop and rub it on your stomach and tell me what you think. That's all that it takes. It just, I can go into a whole bunch of non-compliant verbiage here. So I will just say, trust me, this is a beautiful oil. You can take it internally. You can rub it on your stomach. It's not one to diffuse so much, but people do diffuse. Maybe if you have someone who's really dealing with some issues, you can maybe try it at night. But this is just an amazing oil. And I purposely, it is seriously incredible. So I purposely called her back and said, hey, what is this? And so we started the whole conversation about my path, and here I am today with doTERRA. And, you know, she told me that she sat in the parking lot for 15 minutes or something and was afraid to come in and talk to me. She was afraid to share this oil with me. And this oil is so helpful with all the things I just talked about on what's harmful to our gut. This oil is actually going to go back and help support our body and get on top of all that. So here's some more details regarding that. You can add it with tea. It's really good in tea because it has peppermint. It has ginger in it. Fennel is one of my favorite oils now, and it's not available in India yet, but fennel is in the digestin blend. It actually helps you with sugar cravings, so fennel is really wonderful that way. And this one, again, you can take aromatically, topically, and internally, and neat, meaning it does not need any dilution to rub on your stomach. Okay, so here are some other oils that you can use for gut health. You know, if we go through, of course, and try to avoid those foods that we talked about earlier on, and we want to do a cleanse. We want to help support our body by getting the gluten out of those villi, helping get that inflammation down so that our body can actually digest the food that we're eating, that's the good foods, and be able to take care of your stomach, right? So citrus oils, I just put a few here. Citrus oils are incredible. Just adding a few drops to a cold or warm glass of water. You in India, you guys all love to drink warm water. I here in the United States like my water a little bit cold. But when you're drinking the water, regardless, you can put it in hot tea or anything like that. And lemon, bergamot is one of my favorite. That's also an English tea known as the Earl Grey tea, and it's very comforting. It's a nice tea to drink before you go to sleep or after your dinner. And Peppermint and spearmint are also our favorites for helping relieve, and may help relieve stomach cramps and bloating. Copaiba, you guys, if you're having a lot of cramping and things like that going on, this oil might be a really good one to reach for. And turmeric. Those are wonderful oils, as well as when I was in India, because our bodies are not used to the bacteria and the different things found in water, we actually were taking clove oil to help be on top of the parasite. And so ginger oil is really nice, and lemongrass. Lemongrass is also known to be anti-parasitic. So, okay, here's a screenshot of some of the oils that are the food grade oils available in India right now. I just did a quick screenshot here to just give you a quick overview of the different ones. So you have so many choices to reach for. And I'm giving you all these different oils not to overwhelm you, but to let you know there's a lot of flexibility. You don't need to have all these oils, so why not? But each oil actually has its own properties that could help support you. Like, for example, cypress is an oil that is a diuretic. Geranium assists in the liver. Ginger actually helps with fatty liver and stimulates liver secretions, right? And so as you go through this list, do a screenshot here. This is one I share often with many of our people. Now, I didn't take off the oils off this chart that are not available in India, because I know, Andrew, like you said, they're going to be coming soon, right? And I think that it's important to kind of have that whole list in front of us. Okay, so I'm going to switch quickly off to another topic when we're talking about those environmental threats to our body. We've got a lot of household chemicals. There's like dryer sheets. I clicked this one off the Amazon website in India. And so I know a lot of you use dryer sheets, and these are the worst. Throw these out. You can make your own dryer sheets with them. We like using those wool dryer balls that are round, and they just bounce around in the dryer, and they fluff the clothes up, and you can put essential oils on that dryer ball, and it just makes the clothes wonderfully fresh. And there's so many different things like that. You can make your own cleaning supplies. But when you're looking at, I just have to say one more thing. When you have a cleaner for your counters and your cabinets and stuff, throw that away. It says on there, spray on, wipe off, and then wash off. How many of you actually wash off after you wiped the counter off? Our skin is the largest organ on our body, and it's very absorption. It's going to absorb. So when you're leaning on the counter that you just thought you cleaned so cleanly, and it's going to be safe to lean on, those chemicals are absorbing through your skin. And that is another way we're introducing more chemicals into our body. Also, dishwasher and detergents, dishwasher soap is, you think about it, it's cleaning our dishes, but it's not, is it washing it off very well? What is that finish that they put on that dishwasher stuff, or your dishwashing machine, or when you're hand washing to keep them shiny? That is a chemical as well. So you can make all your own toxic-free home products with essential oils. I've just listed 2 here, but you can make your own spray bottles, your own creams, your own makeup, your own, your own deodorant, your own everything. And sometimes it's so fun to have parties together where you bring everybody, all these ladies come over, and you just make a whole bunch together, and then you have your supply for the rest of the few months. And what's really nice, you guys, it's so much more economical than the stuff that you buy at the store. It's so much more economical, and you know what you're using. doTERRA has this wonderful blog that has many recipes that you can get started with. Now, also another thing that can cause, and this was my case, is stress and emotions. Because I was having this, my stomach wasn't digesting the food, and then I was stressing out more and not getting the nutrients, and then I was not sleeping at night. It was a spiral down effect where I was not able to get on top of that, right? And stress, when we are stressed, our digestive system shuts down, and it goes slower and causes more toxicity in our body. So when we talk about dis-ease or disease, it is studied and known to be created from emotions. Now, you can find lots of different people. We've got this wonderful program with doTERRA about emotions, and you might want to really look into it. It's just incredible. And you can become a certified health emotions coach if you wanted. There's so many different areas within inside of doTERRA that you can actually take on. But when we're looking at these emotions, we have oils for that too, you guys. Isn't this great? We have like adaptive. I love adaptive. I love to diffuse it. It just smells so beautiful and it's not overwhelming. And it just is really very effective for me. Balance is another favorite oil. I like to, after I shower, I like to take a few drops and rub it over my heart. And that's just, you can feel that just right away. Aromatouch, we have also an Aromatouch massage technique. It's like a series of 8 oils that you put on someone's body to help relax and calm them down. There's a whole nother program in that. And then Serenity is another beautiful oil that's called the Restful Blend. So we have many oils. This again is just a few to take a look at for helping with stress, anxiety, and things. Now, I wanted to show you this chart. This is Natalie Goddard from United States had put this together a long time ago, and I've saved it. It just so blows my mind away when we're looking at a physical response that we have. Like maybe does anybody have anything going on that they'd be like to talk about? Maybe they're having weight issues, or maybe they have lower back pain. If we were to talk about lower back pain, the emotional root of lower back pain is maybe feeling unsupported. And isn't that incredible? So we have oils that support the emotional root as well as the physical response. And so using different oils will actually go after that root cause and help us find the desired result of being supported. So take a screenshot of this. This is actually 2-sided. I only put one side on here. But if you're looking for this chart in a PDF format, I'd be happy to get that for you. Now, this is the whole deal, you guys. People, doTERRA is all about living a wellness lifestyle. We want to talk about really going through and looking at all the different areas of our life, from nutrition and digestion, from exercise, moving things around. What is your stress and your sleep like? Now, if you were to take a minute and think about what that is for you, like if you were to go through and rate yourself 1 being really terrible and 10 being really amazing, if you took a minute and just wrote down in each of these boxes what that is for you. And then if I were to tell you, if you're putting like maybe a 5 in nutrition, what would it be like for you if you were to raise that up to a 6? What would that be like for you to be able to start moving instead of spiraling down, but actually moving up in a direction that's going to be benefiting your body? We are teaching natural self-care, being informed self-care, so that way you don't have to go to the doctor as often. We still believe in modern medicine. However, we want to be able to help you be proactive in your wellness with your family so that you're not being reactive in doing something that you don't want to be doing, right? Now, let's take a minute. doTERRA has so many different oils for different areas of these things, like I've been discussing. We've got lots of different oils to go through and use for resting and managing stress. We've got this beautiful oil called Deep Blue for helping with the soreness or for that cooling support in our body. I want to stay compliant. This is so hard sometimes. And so taking a screenshot of this, you guys, this is in our Live Guide. And we like to go over this with everybody when they become a member of doTERRA and they're looking to choose a new lifestyle for wholeness, wellness for your family. So maybe just take a minute too and think about, what are your top health priorities? What is it that you want to feel more of? Do you want to have more energy? Do you want to have more vitality in your life? Do you want to be able to feel less drained, less depression, or, what is it for you? And take a minute and think about that. And I just want to ask you, why is this a priority for you? And maybe even ask yourself, how long have you been dealing with that? And how much does that cost you? Like for me with my stomach, the doctor visits, the test, and the depression that I was going through so much frustration because the doctors were telling me there was nothing wrong. And I'm like, there's something wrong with me. I'd go to a different doctor hearing the same thing. That cost me a lot of time from work. It cost me a lot of vitality in my life. And so I ask you to take a look at that and see what it could be for you. And why not take time and become a wholesale member or wellness advocate member and receive 25% off all these beautiful oils from retail. You can order on your own website, so you don't have to chase your lady around looking to get her orders in whenever she's ordering. You can do this yourself. You can be proactive in your own healthcare. You can receive deeper discounts on a program called the Loyalty Reward Program. And that here, we'll talk about that just more in more depth here in a minute. And if you decide to, it's not required, but you can maybe even earn an income sharing these oils with others, because you guys, they're incredible. You can't help it. With me, I was not going to do the business. I was not going to do that because I had a business and I was not into network marketing, but I could not believe how effective and how amazing and how simple these essential oils are that I started sharing just naturally with my friends. And so that might be something you can consider, but you guys, it's not a requirement, but you will find, like I did, that is just a really fun thing to do. So today we're going to talk about some ways you can get started, and we have a wonderful special for Diwali, which is next week. So happy Diwali, everybody. And this is I could not believe doTERRA India came out with this set. This is an incredible cheap price. Getting this petal diffuser is like, you're almost getting it for free. Like that is just an incredible thing. You have to have a diffuser. And if you don't have a diffuser, just buy this kit because it's still cheaper getting this. And you're actually saving 5,437 Indian rupees. You're saving more than what you're paying. So everybody should have bought one of these. I don't know. It's just a really great thing. This kit includes 5 ml bottles of lavender, lemon, and peppermint. And all of these 3 oils, if you're having gut issues, they will be very supportive in that. Lavender helps you with your sleep. Lemon is very wonderful for helping with the drinking. You can drink that. And peppermint, it's also the one oil found in the digestive blend. Okay. So we also have this other special that's going on, 15% off. It's only 10,384 Indian rupees. So this is 10 essential oils. This one includes the digestin that I spoke about. And it also has the lavender, lemon, and peppermint. It has the deep blue. It has the On Guard. It has oregano and our beautiful frankincense oil, which I think is just the number one oil. It's just amazing. And tea tree. I think I mentioned them all there. And so this is just a wonderful kit to start out with as well. And I think that this Home Essentials kit is another version of that, which is the 15 ml bottles. And so getting everything that we just talked about, you can always add the diffuser on or get the Diwali kit and add that with this, which I think is just a really smart thing to do. So we have a simpler kit that's 9,365 Indian rupees. And to me, I think I would still get the Home Essentials kit or the Diwali kit. You're going to be able to get a lot of different oils with having that kit. It's going to be so much more affordable for you right now. And just exciting. Now, I'm going to talk about the Loyalty Reward Program real quick. The Loyalty Reward Program is an optional feature where you get deeper discounts being loyal to doTERRA. So every month you place an order, you actually will get more points back in product credit points. So the first 3 months, you get 10% back. So if you spent 100 PV, PV standing for product value points or personal volume points. And when you order in PV, you will get 10 PV back, or 10% of that 100 PV. The next 3 months is 4 to 6, you get 15% back. Months 7 through 9, you get 20% back. All the way to 13 months, you're going to get 30% back in product credit points when you place an order. You guys, that is above and beyond the 25% wholesale discount. So this is incredible. So it really does pay to be loyal. All you need to do is order every month to maintain the loyalty reward point system. If you skip a month, then you will lose those points and start all over again. You will go back to the beginning of the ladder, and so you'll start over. So always try to order something. And then the next, if you order 50 points, then you will increase in the points. So if you just order, let's say 10 PV every month, you're not going to be increasing up in the ladder. Now, if you decide to do the business, you're going to want to do 100 PV, and in 100 PV, that will be a way you can earn the commissions. And then we also have 125 PV, a product of the club month. If you order between the 1st and the 15th, you will actually earn a free product of the month. And now this month, we actually have a promotion going on. If you order 200 PV, you'll get the free Immortelle. And that's not always each month. So always check before you place your orders to see what's going on and if you can actually get a product of the month at the 200 PV. Okay, so here's a truth bomb, you guys. I just want to say that, you know, you can go grocery shopping and spend 5,000 Indian rupees and think that's really too expensive. You know, if you're going to buy all these healthy foods, you know, because it's more expensive to buy healthy foods, right? But you'll go on a dinner date like a drop of a hat, and you will spend 5,000 Indian rupees and think that's reasonable. Or you'll, you know, have your own monthly supplements that you spend 7,000, or you can't spend 7,000 Indian rupees, it's too expensive. But you'll go out, have a fun time, celebrate a birthday party or something, and spend 7,000 Indian rupees like nothing, nobody's business, right? But what about personal growth? You know, you think 20,000 is crazy talk, but you know, you'll buy a fancy purse for 20,000 because you must have it, or you'll spend 80,000 on an iPhone. I don't know how many of you guys have asked me to bring in an iPhone from, you know, we can't do that, you guys, but you'll be willing to spend and buy an iPhone. But what is the investment for you and your family for your future residual income? Are you willing to take on and take control of your life? And, you know, even as simple as going and working out in a gym for 60 minutes, you wish you had time, but you'll spend time on social media, hours on hours doing that. So everything in your life is a choice, and that choice is up to you. And I ask you to take a look at and see if you would be willing to take on and take control of your life. So, and reach out and talk to the person who invited you today and tell them you're ready to take control and take on your life. All we need is these details here to get your wholesale membership started, and then choose the kit that you want to start out with that works best for you and your family. And we would then afterwards work with you on a wellness consult and help you with your whole program throughout the next coming months. So do we have any questions or anything that we can get started with? And I just want to say thank you, you guys, for being with me today. And I will go ahead and stop sharing the program here. Do we have any questions?
I can speak up if you want me to, Andrew. Becky, there was one question on the points. Cindy mentioned that you just earn points on 50 PV or more, which I believe is the same in India, right, Andrew?
Yeah, that's correct.
And then there was one person way back that asked on oils to use for schizophrenia. Do you have any?
Oh, we would have to look that one up. I would have to